Good afternoon. Welcome to Sked Live. My name is Kaylin Lopes, and here's what's making news now. 3 people were injured following a shooting at downtown Toronto karaoke bar overnight. The shooting occurred in the area of Yonge Street and Elm Street. Toronto police said 2 people, a male and a female in their 20s, were sent to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The 3rd victim made his way to the hospital on his own. Toronto police have not yet released any more information. A female pedestrian was struck by a vehicle that left the scene last night near Bramalea. Peel police identified the victim as a 45-year-old Linda Prakash. She was rushed to the trauma center with life-threatening condition. Police said the vehicle is described as a black Mazda or Honda 4-door sedan. They believe the vehicle is damaged on the passenger side. Police are asking anyone with information to contact Major Collision Bureau at 905-453-2121. A fatal 5-car crash occurred Sunday night between Bayview Avenue and Leslie Street. A 32-year-old woman who was the passenger of a blue Lamborghini was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver, a 35-year-old man, was taken to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The driver and passenger in the silver Toyota were taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries, but the police made a statement on Monday saying their conditions improved to be stable. The drivers of the other 3 cars suffered minor injuries. The cause of the collision is under investigation, but there are indications that street racing may have played a role. In other local news, Toronto police have withdrawn a request to march in this year's Pride Parade. In a statement last night, Pride Toronto posted on Twitter says, "The relationship cannot be mended through a parade. Marching won't contribute towards solving these issues. They are beyond the reach of symbolic gestures." The statement has been signed by other organizations such as the 519, Toronto People with AIDS Foundation, and Sherbourne Health Centre, and many more. The Toronto Police and the LGBTQ+ community has had conflicts over the handling of the Bruce McArthur case. The man is charged with 6 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of 6 men. Last year, police were banned from marching in uniform or having cruisers or police floats in the parade. The 38th annual Pride Parade takes place on June 24th. Now let's get an update from Daniel on top Canadian sports news.
Thanks, Kaylin. The Blue Jays needed a little added muscle to beat the Chicago White Sox last night, and they got exactly that from Russell the Muscle Martin. Martin's 2-run home run in the 7th inning gave the Blue Jays the lead, and they never looked back, winning 4-2. All 4 of the Blue Jays' runs came from the long ball, as Josh Donaldson and Aledmys Diaz both added their first home runs of the year. Also making his Blue Jays debut was starting pitcher Jaime Garcia, who pitched 6 innings of 1-run ball. The Blue Jays will continue their series against the Chicago White Sox tonight as J. Happ is on the mound. First pitch is set for 7:07. Led by Austin Matthews and William Nylander, the Toronto Maple Leafs ran over the Buffalo Sabres last night 5-2. Matthews and Nylander both had 2 goals and an assist each, as the duo were too much for the Sabres to handle. In his return from injury, Matthews has been red hot, running a 7-game point streak with 5 goals and 10 assists. Curtis McElhinney made a 2nd consecutive start between the pipes and made 32 saves in the victory. With the victory, the Leafs have tied their franchise record for points in the season, and with 2 games left to go, the team will have a good chance to break their franchise record. Closing out the season for the Leafs will be a matchup in New Jersey Thursday night against the Devils, and a date at home against the Canadiens on Saturday night. It is the end of an era in Vancouver, as both Henrik and Daniel Sedin have announced that they will retire at season's end. The 37-year-old Twins took to the podium yesterday to announce the closing chapter on a career that began and ended in Vancouver. Daniel Sedin added that the Twins were comfortable with the move, saying it is a happy day for all of us. Drafted 2nd and 3rd overall in 1999, Henrik has amassed 1,069 points over his career, while his brother Daniel has tallied 1,038. Though the pair were never able to win a Stanley Cup in Vancouver, the Twins brought the Canucks to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2011. Henrik described that experience as probably the highlight of his career, but also the lowest point. Canucks fans will have their final chance to say goodbye to the Twins Thursday night for the team's last home game of the season against the Arizona Coyotes. The Twins will be eligible for the Hall of Fame come June 2021. The Raptors are in store for a slugfest tonight as they travel to Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers have been the Raptors' kryptonite over the years, winning the last matchup 132-129, despite the Raptors scoring 79 points in the first half. The game will likely come down to one factor: LeBron James. As in the last meeting, the Cavaliers All-Star exploded for 35 points. At stake for the Raptors is a chance to tie their franchise record of 56 wins in the season. For the Raptors to be successful, they will need to cut down on their turnovers, as their 7 fourth-quarter turnovers led to a loss Saturday night against the Celtics. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Now, off to Kaylee to take a look at what's trending on social media.
Thanks, Daniel. Researchers have found dinosaur tracks on the Scottish island Isle of Skye. The tracks are said to be the cousin of the T-Rex and are said to be from the Middle Jurassic period. Researchers say that the tracks that were left behind are about 170 million years old. Carolyn Caillou, mayor of Beauvais, played an awful April Fool's joke on the residents of Beauvais. Caillou announced that an IKEA would be opening in the city. If this had been true, the city of Beauvais would have gained 4,000 new jobs. Caillou has since apologized for her actions. After the shooting that left Parkland students devastated with the loss of 17 peers in February, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School has implemented a new policy. This policy requires students to keep their belongings in clear plastic backpacks. Parkland students have shown their displeasure by leaving notes in the front of the backpack stating how they really feel about the new policy. Stephen Hawking's funeral took place in Cambridge, England this past weekend, and his family gave a local charity a special gift from Stephen himself. The final gift included Easter lunch at Food Cycle Cambridge. More than 40 people gathered for this meal as they said their final goodbye to one of the world's greatest. And now over to Alessandra for today's top entertainment news.
Thanks, Daniel. The federal government is making history by announcing the first woman president as head of CBC Radio Canada. Heritage Minister Melanie Jolie made the announcement this morning at the Parliament Hill that Catherine Tate is the new head of the organization. Tate has worked in the film and television business for more than 30 years, including time at the Telefilm Canada and as a former president of Salter Street Films. Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan Tatum announced Monday that they are separating after almost 9 years of marriage. The couple posted their statement on their individual Instagram pages. They met while filming Step Up in 2006 and got married in 2009. The couple have a daughter together and are currently working on separate projects. Jenna is the host of NBC's World of Dance, while Channing is set to voice the role of Migo in the upcoming animated film Smallfoot. Judge Stephen O'Neill in Bill Cosby's sexual assault retrial has rejected a news media request to let 2 pool reporters into the Philadelphia courtroom where potential members of the jury are being questioned as a group. Reporters will be allowed to watch the proceedings on a closed-circuit feed from a separate courtroom. Reporters will be able to see the judge, prosecutors, and the defense lawyers, but not the potential jury. Cosby is pleading not guilty to all charges against him. In a different Philadelphia courtroom, Judge Janice Brinkley is keeping rapper Meek Mill behind bars while he appeals a prison sentence for violating probation. Mill's case stems from a 2008 conviction on drug and gun charges in Philadelphia. Prosecutors say that they are not opposed to having Meek released on bail due to the questions about the credibility of the arresting officer. And now to Jen for this week's weather.
Thanks, Alessandra. Outside, it is currently partly cloudy and is sitting at 4 degrees, but feeling like -2. Tonight will drop to 3 degrees. A special weather report statement is in effect. Expect a significant thunder shower later tonight that will amount to 15 to 25 millimeters of rain, followed by strong winds gusting between 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. Moving to our 5-day forecast, Wednesday is going to be mainly cloudy with a 60% chance of rain showers and with a 30% chance of flurries in the morning. Expect strong wind gusts from 60 to 80 kilometers per hour. Highs will reach +4, but temperatures are expected to drop to -7. Thursday will be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of +4. Temperatures will drop to -5 and there is a chance of periods of snow. Don't put your skis away just yet because on Friday there's a 70% chance of flurries with a high of -3 and it will fall to -7. Saturday it will be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of +2 and a low of -7. We'll have some sunshine on Sunday with a high of +3 and a low of -2. And now to Daniel with an update on international sports news.
Thanks, Jennifer. Over 67,000 were in attendance who witnessed Villanova dominate Michigan and become this year's March Madness tournament winner. Villanova defeated Michigan 79-62 to win their second national championship in 3 years. Michigan simply did not have an answer for Villanova's Dante DiVincenzo, who scored 31 points off the bench. DiVincenzo was just the latest firepower option for Villanova, as Michigan struggled to contain all their stars. With the victory, Villanova becomes one of 4 teams in NCAA history to win every game in the tournament by double-digit scores. Villanova coach Jay Wright described the feeling of winning a second title as something out of his comprehension. Wright's championship success can be attributed to his team's building, as he assembled a team of shooters that came in all shapes and sizes. His team set an NCAA record for most three-pointers in the season, and with yesterday's victory, it is safe to say that Villanova has officially become a dynasty. The quarterfinals of the Champions League are set to kick off this afternoon, with Sevilla taking on Bayern and Juventus taking on Real Madrid. Juventus and Real Madrid will be a must-watch matchup, as it will be a rematch of the 2016-2017 Champions League final. The Italian side will be without many key players, as Miralem Pjanic is suspended for today's first leg, while Real is coming in at full health. That's not all for this week's Champions League matchups though, as Liverpool will face rival Manchester City and Roma will travel to Spain to take on Barcelona tomorrow. With Europe's finest now down to just 8 teams, the stakes are higher than ever. All games are scheduled to kick off at 2:45 Eastern Time. Now, off to Alessandra for the latest on movie stars, Disney stars, and pandas.
Thanks, Daniel. Famous actor and former WWE wrestler Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is talking about both his and his family's struggle with depression. In a recent interview with British tabloid The Express, Johnson talks about his mother's attempted suicide 30 years ago. Johnson tweeted out a thank you for the overwhelming positive response from his 12.7 million fans and followers, which included a link to the interview and a picture of him and his mother. Following Johnson's lead, former Disney star Alison Stoner has opened up about her sexuality in a Teen Vogue essay. Stoner explained in her essay how she had fallen in love with another woman and that she now knows how to embrace her sexual identity. Stoner got some negative feedback and shut down those who were stereotyping her in a tweet by saying, "Giggling at the press finding stereotypical masculine outfits, I've worn it to affirm that I date women, but gender expression and identity are different." Kristen Bell is set to narrate a documentary about pandas by Warner Bros. Pictures. Bell, who voiced Princess Anna in Disney's animated film Frozen, is not new to animation and voiceover. The film Pandas follows a cub named Chen Chen, who was born in captivity and released into the wild in hopes that pandas can thrive. The film is set to release into theaters this Friday. And now to Kaylin for international news.
Thanks, Alessandra. U.S. President Donald Trump asked a federal judge yesterday to order private arbitration in the Stormy Daniels case. Daniels said she had an affair with Trump once in 2006 and signed a non-disclosure agreement in 2016 prior to the election. Trump's attorney argued that Daniels could owe about $20 million for violation the non-disclosure deal. But Daniels argued that the agreement is invalid since it was only signed by her and Trump's lawyer. The White House has said Trump denies having an affair. In other political news, Winnie Mandela passed away yesterday at age 81. She was an activist who fought the apartheid regime in South Africa alongside husband Nelson Mandela. President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, paid tribute to Mandela.
Winnie Mandela lastly leaves a huge legacy. And as we say in African culture, a gigantic tree has fallen. She has been one of the strongest women in our struggle, who suffered immensely.
Crowds of people joined together to sing and chant outside of Mandela's house to commemorate her legacy. In other news, Tesla CEO Elon Musk took an April Fool's joke a bit too far over the weekend, joking that his car company is going bankrupt. Tesla's stock is now down 35% from its high of last year, according to the LA Times. The company has also struggled to meet production targets for its lower-priced Model 3 car. That's what's making news now. Check check out our website, skedline.com. My name's Kaylin Lopes. Bye for now.